Hello and welcome to Funkox Gaming. In the last episode of This Is a Police, I won't even say things didn't go too well. Things went pretty badly. I think I lost about 5 officers. And some of them were pretty good as well. They had ranks and high value, so not a good session. And also there was a new thing that I could do with a corporation that started up. And I can store some of my money with them. I'm not sure if I want to though or not. So I lost Platonic. There's one of them. Although she's not actually dead. Shh, don't tell anybody.
In progress.
It sounds like a really odd one, but let's go for it. So I need 2 for A. Oh, you're not that great.
We've got a situation here.
In the shadows and corners, dozens of people lay unconscious, and bags and syringes are scattered everywhere. Grab a random addict and give them mouth-to-mouth? No. Call an ambulance and begin to process the addicts who are still conscious. Cordon off the building and move all the addicts out. Oh. A naked addict with a shotgun fires out of the bathroom and he starts putting holes in the ceiling. Fall to the ground and hide among the drug addicts. Uniforms might give you away. Shoot him, hide behind a sofa and wait until the perpetrator runs out of ammunition.
1111 complete.
Oh.
910C in progress.
I was trying to raise 10-1, Sergeant Softball.
212 in progress.
It did.
In progress.
Mr. Boyd, my old rival Jim Gates has returned to the city. The last few years he spent in China setting up his factories there. Now he wants to flood the city with cheap knockoffs, threatening every honest businessman in Freiburg. At the present time, his is staying... That's a typo. At the present time, he is staying at the True Colour Hotel and plans to buy a house outside the city. I want you to show him the true terror capable of law enforcement agencies. He's to understand that he's not welcome here in Freiburg. Oh no. Damn it, I've lost another officer.
In progress. We've got a situation here.
One of the hooligans is trying to light a Molotov cocktail, but his lighter won't strike. Pass him his Zippo. Deploy fire extinguishers. Try to grab fire extinguishers.
212 complete.
Domestic disturbance. The S is about to be struck by a giant meteor. No, let's ignore that one.
1111 in progress.
Ooh. Yeah. Mr. Jakubski withdrew a large sum from his bank account. Then while he was getting into his car, a man carrying a gun approached him from behind. He told me not to turn around and hand over the money. Then he ran away. When I finally turned around, I saw a tall figure in a hood ducking up the alley. I don't have anybody to give you.
Progress. Progress.
It's gonna be a false alarm.
I was trying to raise 10-1, Sergeant Hotspot.
I definitely don't have enough to send to that one now.
210 in progress. We've got a situation here.
The restaurant is crowded, with waiters moving smoothly between tables. Nothing suspicious. Enter through the back door, storm the main entrance, block the approaches to the restaurant and wait until the civilians have left the building. Back door. One of the waiters notices the police and shouts in a strange language. The diners jump up and run towards the door. Detain the guests and question them. Arrest the waiter, run to the kitchen. In the kitchen, two tough-looking men with machine guns open fire on the cops. Throw stun grenades, retreat around the corner and turn fire, fall to the ground and shoot the legs of the criminals.
1111.
To do the movie style. More heroin.
213 in progress. 215 complete. 910 complete. 213 complete. 210 complete.
Ooh. Yeah, called that one. Ah. Literally just hired you. Oh. Let's increase efficiency.
110A in progress.
So one on each side. I ought to go back to the very first episode and see who I've got left from there, because I think I've only got like Yancy Van Dahl and Oichi. The police approach the suspect's front door. Open up, it's a delivery from Interhouse. Open up, it's the police. Knock without saying anything. A man in a chemical protection suit, seeing the police, rushes to a bedside table and searches frantically for something. Throw the suspect into the centre of the room and pin his arms. Search the room for clues, point a gun at him in order not to move.
412A in progress. situation here.
Teens continued to beat an old man, ignoring the police car that just drove up. Turn on the siren, grab the two most aggressive teenagers. Boy, we brought you these here cigars. When the teenage thugs see the police, they start running off in different directions. Fire into the air and all not to move. Chase the weakest one. Nobody moves. Nobody gets shot.
412A.
Like I say, civilians unharmed, apart from the guy that they were kicking while he was on the floor.
910A complete. Ten ten A in progress.
Francis Burke Jr. Jack, I'm not going to give you a sob story about all my recent misfortunes. Let's just say that I need my job back with the police. And I do mean need. You'll help me out, right? You'll be retired soon, so how about a little advance payment for my annual salary? It's only fair. It's not in your best interest to refuse. I know all about your shady business dealings. Just one phone call is all it takes. I got all the evidence I need to bury you, but I don't want to go against you. I just really need this job, you know. Well, you agree, right? Well, I suppose I can afford it. Well, Jack, that's excellent. Some folks say you're a fool, but I know you're as sharp as ever. Jack Boyd is no fool. Oh. No.
We've got a situation here.
The protesting women are pointing at movie posters with busty heroines in sexy poses shouting, "Sexism is a disease in our society." One of the women steps forward and throws a stone at the cinema director, who was trying to go talk to the protesters.
216 complete.
Bit of an obvious one, that one. So, I'm going to get rid of the problem. He gets paid more and will die soon.
910C in progress.
I blame Birch.
We've got a situation here.
At the Masquerade Club, all the employees and visitors wear masks and costumes. People outside are dancing quietly, but there's a sound of claps coming from further inside. Climb up to the second floor and get a better view. Seize the girl in the squirrel suit. Go deeper into the hall. Second floor. The music stops and the shots ring out. The dancers start to stampede. The guy in the hockey mask flashes a gun and pushes over the girl in the squirrel suit. Chase the guy in the hockey mask, shoot the man, help the girl up. The guy in the hockey mask runs out into the street, gets in his car and continues shooting at the police. Open fire at him, shoot out his tyres, hide behind the door of the club. Tyres.
510 complete.
Oh. No, not Yancy. God damn it.
910C complete.
I'm losing so many people at the minute. Not even the people I want to lose. feel like Karichi's end. Oh, I'm gonna have so many funerals. So it's all for Shift A. I think I'll just hire the one for now.
110A in progress.
Mr. Boyd, I don't know if you've come to Mass, but if you do, you may know that our most enlightened and progressive parishioners donate absurd sums of money to curry favour of the God's blessed powder. Truly this powder is manna from the heavens, which clears the mind in preparation for the coming of the Antichrist. Unfortunately, some of our flock seem to be turned from the house of the Lord for outside. The enemies of Jesus sell them fake satanic powder, and they're undercutting our God-blessed prices. It would be a great thing if you get rid of them, as our Lord Jesus drove the merchants from the house of God. That is a weird one. Mr. Boyd, I see you do not wish to delay the arrival of the Antichrist any more than I do. After all, he cannot be arrested or put in jail. Henceforth, any of our church services are available to you at reduced rates. Please also accept from me, the Bishop of Freeburg, this sum of money as a personal gift. Wow. Thanks. The market district is seeing increased cases of pickpocketing, and the media are already up in arms about it. You were to send 2 cops to the area to increase perception of police protection. There are journalists scurrying about.
I was trying to raise 10-1, Sergeant.
1011A in progress. Looks like we have a situation here.
2 men are pulling a woman with a bloody head out of a Cadillac. The crowd isn't letting them get her to the hospital. And some are yelling that the cops have failed. We'll deal with this by laws of the streets. Fine, just make it quick. And the laws of the streets, what I like. Take out the nightstick and get ready to strike. The crowd starts throwing glass bottles and stones at the cops. Everybody stop, hide behind riot shields and push the crowd back. Fire a few shots in the air.
110A complete. 1011A complete.
Oh. Oh, what is going on at the minute? At least Kochi survived.
in progress.
Okay, let's see if I've got enough now. So, Mr. Poulsen. Gary Poulsen, homeless. I saw a muddy young fella wearing a hood whirling through the alley near the fur store. And I got distracted. I get like that sometimes. I remember I heard some rumbling and hissing, like cars running into each other. Victim of the theft. I had just parked my car near the fur shop, and a boy in a hood popped through the gate, grabbed my bag from my shoulder and disappeared. I hurried to phone the call police, and the damn pest must have been hiding nearby. As soon as I stepped away from the car, he dashed inside and was off like a bolt. The very first turn he hit a fire hydrant and ran away like a cowardly dog. Okay, the car is insured, but who's going to replace my favourite Snow White handbag? The camera at the intersection shows the convertible crashing into a fire hydrant and water spraying like a fountain. A short time later, a thin hooded figure climbs out of the car and runs away down the street. There's traces of yellow paint on the fire hydrant. I was just walking down the street when some guy in a hood came flying right at me. He was all wet, a real mess like he was from a shipwreck. The guy ran into me hard, almost broke my ribs. So, it's a yellow car and a white bag, so that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. So I don't have enough yet. I think I've lost like half of my force in the last 4 or 5 days. Not going very well.
In progress.
Mr. Boyd, I have the misfortune of having a family. My only daughter is marrying a complete idiot. She's requiring that the wedding take place on the roof of my skyscraper, and as soon as possible. But I want to protect my daughter from making the biggest mistake of her life, so I've organised a grand wedding and reception, and I ask that you arrest the groom at the altar on some monstrous charges, like child pornography for example. Better for my daughter to survive that horrible moment of shame in front of 100 people than live shame every day for the rest of her life. That is really harsh. I kinda don't want to do it, but he's got my money. I'm not gonna do that one.
Officer on scene. Looks like we have a situation here.
The man grips the girl's arm tightly and aims his shotgun at the registry office employee. She says, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Sneak up behind the groom and stun him with a nightstick. Kiss her, you fool. You there? Throw down your weapon or I'll put a hole in your suit.
710A.
I was trying to raise 10-1, Sergeant Softball.
Progress, 10 in progress.
I said yes to that because it was for a good cause. Oh, and here come all the funerals. Can't believe Yancey's gone. I'm going to delay that one as long as possible.
Looks like we have a situation here.
The building's lobby is empty, and there's a black bag near one column. Carefully take the package and bring it out of the building to a vacant lot. Kick the package, completely evacuate the building. Inside the package, some mechanism spins up, and the package starts humming and vibrating. Open it and try and crush it. Make sure everyone's at a safe distance. Run away as quickly as safe distance. We have a report on the radio that a suspect was spotted in the crowd outside the building. He was smiling, watching the scene as he held up something like a remote control. Judith Morrow reported to the police that her husband Eric has disappeared. She had returned home early from the business trip, hoping to surprise him, but the house had been turned upside down and Eric was nowhere to be found. No one at work has seen him for the past 5 days. That's what I'm telling myself while I can't afford to send nobody to do it. Most of the people involved in the firefight have been killed or seriously injured. 2 men on the street continue to shoot at the restaurant. Order them to surrender, storm the restaurant, open fire on the suspects in the street. thinking that I may have this a bit wrong. Ah, see, I thought that was a phone booth, but it's not. So I guess maybe that one, because it's a yellow car. They're pulling up. Aha!
910B complete.
Tomorrow.
Who's there? Show yourself or I'll start popping off.
Christ, that made me jump.
Mr. Boyd, it's me, Mr. Fry.
I don't know any Mr. Fry, and if I did, I wouldn't want him coming around in the middle of the night.
Mr. Boyd, I'm a private detective. I was looking for your wife, Laura.
Right, my wife Laura. I'm looking for my wife Laura. Laura Markham Boyd. Right.
That was weirdly suspicious.
You want to throw on a robe, Mr. Boyd?
I'm not cold. So, Laura, what have you learned?
I know where she lives, who she's with. I know what her plans are. To tell the truth, I learned even more than I expected, but I can't tell you anything.
I'll keep a hold of this thing just in case. So, what were you saying?
I said I can't share this information with you, Mr. Boyd. You see, Laura... Well, let's say... Your beloved Laura is with a very wealthy man. I consider myself a good investigator, but he figured out pretty quick that I was onto him. We talked, all three of us, me, him, Laura, and, we agreed that I'd stop bothering them, and in return, I'm getting a very good position in the company he owns, Mr... Oh, I almost gave the name away.
You do realize I could shoot you right here.
Well, that would hardly be fair, Mr. Boyd. I might not have come here, you know. But I decided to come clean with you, look you in the eye. I don't want you blaming Emma. She really wanted to help you. Plus, Mr. Boyd, I like you. You're a good chief of police, and I feel bad for you. So I talked to Laura, and she'll call you when she's ready. You just need to wait a little longer, and, well, I'm not taking a penny from you for my services.
Get out. Leave the beer.
But I already drank half of it.
Don't worry, I'm not squeamish. Hey, Fry,
Understandable.
take off your shoes.
I'm sorry?
Take off your shoes. Leave them at the door and get out.
But why?
Because when I asked you to leave the beer, it seemed like you didn't really mind. And I want you to mind. And the socks. Fine. Good night.
Maybe a little bit overboard. I'd be pissed, but you know, I was holding the gun at him, and he didn't charge me. Okay, folks, I think I'm going to leave that one there for today. A little bit of an unusual turn, and yet again, I lost a hell of a lot of people. So I'm hoping I can replace them soon. But for now, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.